Rain has been the story over the past 2 months in eastern Oklahoma. A story that tells us that about 20 inches of rain has drenched the region, which includes our Bassmaster site for today. The high water has made a difference between last year's stop here and this year.
Oh yeah.
This year, for one, the water's a lot higher and it's dirtier. And what that means is the shallow water fishermen and the deep water fishermen can both play to their strengths. Last year, the good fishing was out deep, and the guys that fish deep did well. The guys that fish shallow struggled. But this year, whatever your strength is, you can excel at it on Grand Lake.
So, listening to Alton and looking at this field of stud elite anglers, you might think these guys are really gonna catch them today.
That's what I'm talking about right there.
And you would be right. Because this race is so tight that almost first thing this morning, Jeff Kriet boats a fish that should seal the deal.
That's what you catch early right there.
If it weren't for the fact that Superman KVD is bearing down on him with this fish.
Cue the Metallica, we're about to rock, baby.
And how can you compete with an angler who's able to boat 2 fish at the same time?
Always grab the biggest.
In the next hour, we find out who the man is today and who has the $100,000 smile.
It's the Elite Series, Sooner Run.
Okay, we're set up for a big-time battle today. Welcome to the Sooner Run, stop number 7 of this 11-event season for the Bassmaster Elite Pros. Final day, 12 players, $100,000 on the line. That's what you need to know. You need to take a look at our playing field as well. Here in the extreme corner of northeast Oklahoma is Grand Lake on the Neosho River, about 1,300 miles of shoreline, 50,000 acres, and a lot different than it was when we were here last year. We'll have more for you on that in just a moment. Take a look at this top 12 list here going into the final day. Again, Jeff Kriet just ounces ahead of the baddest man in bass fishing, Kevin VanDam. We have a rookie in the mix as well, Marty Robinson, Kevin Short in there very close to the lead. And look at the names lurking. Hite, Horton, Evers. Sanders here with Zona. We're not lurking. We're here to enjoy this tournament along with you. And it's a different sort of leaderboard because it's a different kind of lake than last year.
It really is, Tommy. I mean, they caught them good last year, but this year they smashed them here. You're looking at post-spawn conditions, water temps, 75 to 80 degrees, but the rain has basically swelled Grand Lake. The water's up about 2.5 to 3 feet, but the main key here is how much color is in the water. The fish have really fed this week.
Let's take our top players, take them out of the launch here and locate them on Grand Lake here, starting with our leader, Jeff Kriet.
There's definitely a theme here. Jeff Kriet, he's going to go all the way to the dam, fishing an area, it's a popular area called Duck Creek, fishing very slow with a Carolina rig.
Kevin VanDam.
Ah, yes, Kevin VanDam. Down by the dam again, but he is fishing all main lake points. And the one thing about Kevin VanDam, he's got one weapon in his hands right now, the crankbait.
Kevin Short has had a fantastic week.
This is kind of a strange deal. Kevin Short said, man, I'm down by the dam. I'm fishing deep structure. Well, he goes 2 feet from our launch ramp, fishing about 2 feet of water.
Oh my gosh.
Yes.
And Edwin Evers from Oklahoma, he's down there a bit, but he's so good. He's from right around here. We got to watch that guy today.
Continuing our theme right now, Edwin Evers fishing right across from Jeff Kriet, fishing in a small pocket, very slow. He's got a 1-2 punch. He's fishing a jig, but he's backing it up with a crankbait.
As you say, all these guys have been whacking them all week long. Why do the pros like it so much better this year? Let's listen to a guy who didn't make the cut, but knows all about Grand Lake, Alton Jones.
Well, I tell you, Grand Lake is perhaps the best non-grass lake in the country. There's not very many lakes you can go to that don't have milfoil or hydrilla or some other type of aquatic vegetation that have the sheer numbers of fish that are in this lake. And I don't exactly know why, but one of my feelings is because it doesn't have any stripers in it. It seems like if you have lakes without stripers, the bass can really be the dominant predator fish, and that's what you have at Grand Lake. The population is exploding, they're getting big, and they're easy to catch.
Alton Jones likes it. Boy, these guys really whacked him. Like he said, 6 pounds, 4 ounces. That's our Pure Later Big Bass of the tournament. Davy Hite on day 2, and here from day 3, what put him in the lead, 24-11 for Jeff Kriet of Ardmore, Oklahoma. Let's get out to our leader right now.
I mean, I'm where I need to be right now, but good Lord, man. I mean, look who's behind me.
It means a lot to him to beat me, and
VanDam's the man I want to be.
I've had a bullseye on my back from him for quite a while. So
he is the best. I'm not gonna lie, but he better have some game today.
And he's always talking. He says, "Man, I just can't beat you." You know, 'cause it's just funny how it works out that you know, I'll end up at the end of the tournament just a place or two ahead of him, and he may start 20 places in front of me. So
I hadn't closed one yet. It could be today.
16-3. Uh-oh. KVD has slipped to the number 2 spot.
I figure today's a one-day shootout between about 4 of us. So if I go out there and catch him like I did yesterday, you better bring it big time. Because little old 16-pound bag ain't gonna do it today.
this lake really fits my style, but you know, there's quite a few guys that have done real well this week. That guy that's sitting right there in front of me, though, you know, he's pretty confident looking right now. I got my lucky cookies. I just want to know if he's got a bag of nuts there, because everybody calls him the squirrel, and because he was at a boat show, and this big crowd kind of flocked around him, and he thought it was people coming to see him, but they were coming to see the water skiing squirrel. So
It happened.
I want to know if he's got a bag of nuts. You got him?
I got him, bud. Big one.
Well, there you go, the trash talking starting a little early on our final day of tournament fishing here. And do not think the trash talking will end there.
Game time! We're going after the squirrel today. It's nothing like being in contention going into the final day, and if we can go out there and get in a couple of those wads like I have been, we're going to be pretty interesting today. So it's going to be fun. Stay on his tail though. Kriet's a great guy. He's a good friend of mine and all that, but he's no different than anybody else. I want to beat them all, you know. It would make his year to beat me today. We will be slinging till the bitter end today, and we're going to be putting our bait where they live. There is. Good one there. Oh, yeah. Cue the Metallica, we're about to rock, baby. That's a good one right there. He's not hooked good either. I need to get him in and get back out there and get another one. That'll work. A lot of these other guys freak out when they catch one like that, but me, I'm gonna throw them in the box and go out there and whack another one. Never really understood that celebration when I could be catching a bass. You celebrate after the tournament's over. And the squirrel's in trouble.
If he keeps that up, everybody's in trouble. Kevin VanDam, first fish of the day there, takes him from a 7-ounce deficit to a 3-pound lead at 63 pounds unofficially over the rest of that field. We'll keep up with VanDam, see if Kriet can fire back, and also take a look at Kevin Short. He's been doing big things in this Sooner run. Don't go away.
If we can keep catching them like that, the squirrel better have an extra sack of nuts today, brother.
I don't know, man, all those guys, they always got something to say.
It's the Elite Series Sooner Run, brought to you by Mercury Marine, Motor Guide, Toyota Tundra, and by Triton Boats.
The Sooner Run Bassmaster Elite Series final round competition here on Grand Lake in Grove, Oklahoma. We started with an Oklahoman in the lead, Jeff Kriet, by just about half a pound over the one and only Kevin VanDam. VanDam has gone to work, though, and in short order, one good fish in the boat for VanDam, and he's got the lead by 3 pounds over Jeff Kriet. Now over to Kevin Short of Mayflower, Arkansas.
And Kevin Short said coming in the final day, man, I got some great deep fish going. And wouldn't you know, he goes about 1.5 miles from our takeoff and starts in about 1.5 feet of water flipping willows.
This is like hours of boredom. and then well, not hours, but minutes of boredom, and then seconds of sheer terror that you're not gonna get him in the boat. And he's gonna get wrapped around something down there that you can't even see and get off before you can get over there to him. Get in the boat. There we go. That's what we came for. That's what we came for. That's one of those 4-pounders right there. That's one of them. That's how you get that, is when they do that crap. Flopping around stuff. Man. Ouch, fish. You're hurting me. Hurting me. But I love the pain. I love the pain. Ouch. Dang. Now, one of the keys, one of the things, you notice we're back up in the trees. That is one of the things that has helped me the last couple of days, is I've noticed that even though there's been 25 or 30 boats working around in this area, everybody is staying on the outside edges. I've seen very few people that have actually come back up in the willow trees. And yeah, I know the water's falling, they should be moving towards the outside edge, but I mean, there's still, let's see what we got here. Ooh, that's gravel down there too. That's gravel, that's good. We still got, what's that, 3 foot of water? Okay, this is, in Arkansas, this is how we measure how deep it is. Yeah, we've got $3,000 Lowrance units on our boats, but in Arkansas, when we're in shallow water, you stick your pole down in the water, okay? So there's still plenty of water here for a fish to live in. And I mean, look at all this crap. I mean, they could be anywhere, just absolutely anywhere. You can't cover all of it. There's just no way. I mean, this is just a little point of trash. You know, it's got a bush, a big log here, and it's just perfect.
Wow, Kevin Short calling the right audible on the final day.
Kevin Short making a move, jumps a place there, now tied with Jeff Kriet for second place. Now over to the man who won last year on Clark's Hill, Davy Hite.
Probably one of my biggest downfalls is the fact that I swing for the fence, or I try to win every event that I go fish, and I've had some really bad turns because of that. But I've also won 7 events in 13 years, so I've had some good tournaments obviously too. What you need to do as an athlete is try to win. You know, I try to win every event I'm in, and especially on the final day here with 12 people, you've got to forget about everything except what you can do to try to catch 5 really big fish. If it doesn't happen, it doesn't happen, but if it does, you win. Hey. Look at that, you think that fish is feeding? Look in his mouth. See that fork? The tail? That's why these fish are so fat. He was eating brunch and I brought Sexy back. A little saying. Kevin called that Sexy Shad, that bait. And early in the week when we talked about catching them on it, he said, we're gonna bring Sexy back this week, and we've done that. No eye on one side, just one eye, that's real important too.
Davy Hite, who just found out the Classic going to be close to his home in South Carolina, so he's working extra hard to make it there, had himself a good week. Hey, the best third day of this tournament, 24-11, by our guy who started the day with the lead, Jeff Kriet.
Yeah, they're waiting for the squirrel. I thought I was really doing the good, you know. I mean, started off, there weren't maybe 30 people listening to me, but I kind of thought I got on a little roll. You know, pretty soon there's a couple hundred out there. I thought, I'm a pretty entertaining guy. I mean, all put 2 and 2 together. When I saw the little boat start doing circles in the pond, I was throwing my bait in. And they brought up a little cage with Twiggy written on the side, and I was like, oh. Got outdone by a squirrel. Biggins are not biting early. Biggins are late.
Good God almighty. That's what you catch early right there. Right. Little keeper spot. That's what's up there early, is spots and things like that.
Jeff Kriet's score in our Bassmaster Elite Series is done with the southeast part of the United States. We're here in mid-America. They call this part the turn before we head north, and all these guys would like to see Kevin VanDam just held back a little bit, but it's not happening so far. He still retains the lead, although Jeff Kriet has made up a little ground. He's just a half pound behind him unofficially right now. When we come back, Kriet versus VanDam, that continues. We'll also visit with Edwin, who's putting on the biggest run of the day. Plenty more coming from the Sooner Run. Bassmaster Elite Series, and this is the Sooner Run from Grand Lake in Oklahoma. 12 anglers left on this final day. Oklahoman Jeff Kriet started with a half-pound lead. Now he's been overtaken and trails by a half a pound to Kevin VanDam. These anglers said it earlier in the program. They've loved this week because they've got two different ways, basically two different approaches to catching bass.
Exactly, and there's been one key way. If we go out to Edwin right now, he's fishing outer structure, just like our winner last year, Mike McClelland. There was a lot of numbers caught shallow, but all the quality bags came deep.
We're in the back of a creek, and these fish are in their post-spawn patterns, and they just kind of pull out to the first 8-10 foot of water, and just scattered rocks and stumps right down through here. I'm beginning to hope this is a bass now. It's pulling awful hard. Oh yeah, does not hook very good. Golly, stay on there, girl. Stay on there. Shoot, I don't want to pull on her too hard. Come here, come here. Got her. Yes. All right. That's the way to start the day, right there. I didn't even get close to its mouth, but she's in the boat. Only matters if you catch them in the mouth when you're sight fishing. We're not sight fishing, obviously.
Edwin started this day more than 8 pounds back of the leader, Jeff Kriet. Now he's jumped some spaces. He's only 5 pounds back and in the top 5. Earlier, we saw Kevin Short with some good success back here in the jungle, but this isn't his only technique.
And for the folks at home, this is Kevin Short's complete backup pattern. He said every day when that sun gets high, I'll hammer them out deep.
And I really feel like, you know, these fish back up in here where it's kind of, you know, it's kind of hard, it's nasty, it's messy, you know, but these are the fish that really haven't seen that many baits the last couple of days. And I feel like I could probably get out on the outside edge of this stuff, you know, with a small bait and catch some small fish, but that ain't gonna do me any good.
There's another good one. Oh yeah, oh yeah. Oh yeah.
There we go. There we go. That'll work.
Little trip into the jungle that paid off for Kevin Short. He comes out of the brush there with the lead, a pound ahead of Kevin VanDam. And now to the man who won on the Potomac River last year, Texan Jordon. And these guys are fishing places that look exactly like the spots where they caught them on jigs last year, but they got crankbaits this time.
You know, if you talk to every one of them, they'll all tell you with the water table high, they've been pulling water all day long, creating current. And what that does, it tightens the fish up in schools where they're not all scattered out. And the crankbait is the #1 tool to catch them whenever you're pulling water.
Good keeper right there, and that's going to do Jordon some good. That's going to move him, in fact, all the way up into the top 6. He started about 8 pounds plus back of the leaders today.
Yes, sir. The same cast. I've caught that fish, which is a 3-something, another 3.5, a 4, 2 4.5s, and a 5.5. Yeah, on that same cast. I got one little line, and you find that a lot in fishing. And you really got to key in, like, you know, guys that fish offshore a lot know this, but when you catch a fish,
you find stuff like that. And you can't really, you can go over and graph it and can't find, sometimes can't tell what it is, sometimes you can. So I've been over there and I can't tell what it is. It's just a part of the point. Maybe it's a harder bottom right there, something. But when you catch one, always, especially, it's easier here because we're close to the bank. When you're offshore, you can pick you a couple waypoints because you got to repeat that same exact cast. And that same exact cast is what I've caught almost all my big ones on this week. That same, I mean, it's got to be that perfect cast. And when I hit the spot, I know, I'm like, that ought to be the one. And sure enough.
We're going to go over to Kevin VanDam right now and see that he's doing the exact same thing that Kelly Jordon is talking about. Whenever these guys catch a bass on these crankbaits, they literally start a feeding frenzy and the fish get in competition for the bait.
Also some competition out there on Grand Lake to see who can be the #1 Kevin VanDam fan. He's got about 40 boats who have been following him around pretty much all week long right now. Kevin VanDam, all-time money winningest with the Bassmasters. He can extend that lead by another 100 grand a day if he wins.
Like in the crankbait world, that's the Victoria's Secret's model of shad-colored crankbaits right there. I'm right in the spot right here. First day of the tournament, pounded him here. Serious smackdown, like 25 in a row. It's the thing, you know, you just gotta have confidence in a place, you know, that they can pull up and feed on, and all I'm looking for is, oh, there was one, is these little points like this that come out at maybe even a steep one, but if it's got a little flat place, there's a good one right there. If it's got a little flat place on it, it's gonna be on. It's a good one too. It's a big one. Oh God, he's barely hooked. All week, it's been my week. I've had big ones like this, just barely hooked. Changed my hooks, I bet I've put 100 different hooks on my baits throughout the day, and it's been paying off with catches instead of loss. Please stay with me with this one more time. It's funny how pros beg a lot. Come on. Look at. Better watch out, squirrel. I'm coming for you. I don't have my squirrel call, but if I had it, I wouldn't blow it anyways because I don't want Kriet coming over around this area. If we can keep catching them like that, the squirrel better have an extra second nuts today, brother.
Kevin VanDam had the lead, lost the lead to Kevin Short. Now he is back on top by 3 pounds, but he's got to hold off Short, Jeff Kriet, and a charging Edwin Evers. Can Kevin VanDam pick up his 12th Bassmaster win? We'll find out when we come back.
It's the Elite Series Sooner Run.
Welcome back, and what a show we got going on right here. The Sooner Run from Grand Lake in Oklahoma. Tight competition here. The Kevin VanDam, as we take a look at the leaderboard, is a man who was broken away just a little bit. A 3-pound lead over his nearest pursuer. That would be Kevin Short of Arkansas. Jeff Kriet, our leader, coming in on this final day, and Edwin Evers all hanging in there. Tommy Sanders, Mark Zona. Let's take a look at their spots right here. We'll start with Edwin Evers. He's made the big run today. He's set up on a point, and he's working a series of points out there. We've got Jeff Kriet. Points, the story for him as well. Kevin Short started back in the jungle. Now he's moving out to the points we understand right now. And there's Kevin VanDam sitting on a point near the main lake.
And you know, we got to get out on the lake for a few days and watch Kevin VanDam fish. And you looked in his boat, he had 2 crankbaits. One that dived about 5 to 10 feet of water, and then the exact same color one with a bigger bill that dove from about 10 to 20 feet of water. If you look at these points, here's what Kevin told us. He said, when those fish are on top of the points in 5 to 10 feet of water, he's gonna use this one and catch all the fish that are actively feeding. When they do not feed, they'll kind of bunch up and fall off the sides of these points. That's when he's gonna use the bigger crankbait and hammer them with that.
All right, and he's done nothing else.
Every bass that Kevin VanDam has weighed in this entire tournament has come on one of those 2 crankbaits.
All right, totally cranking. Kevin Short now is ready to commit to his cranking. Let's pick him up right now. I think one thing we've learned about Kevin Short this week is don't take him off your fantasy team just because you think they're going to be fishing shallow. Obviously, he can handle all assignments.
And this is what Kevin Short said, man. He said as soon as that sun gets high is really when his bass position on the deeper brush piles.
see me just get hung up? I just got hung up and I just kind of buried down in that brush pile. That's what that DD22, that real long bill on it. I mean, that bill is almost as long as a bait. That long bill, not only does it make that bait dive deep, also keeps the hooks away from that brush. So it's very important, very good bait for fishing deep brush piles with, because you can really get down there and beat and bang around and not have to worry about getting hung up. There's a good one right there.
I'll tell you what, watch out for this guy, Kevin Short. This is one of those good point fish with the crankbait like they've been catching all day today. This could put him right there in a virtual tie with Kevin VanDam again.
And every one of our crankbait fishermen, they're looking for giant balls of big shad. All of them said, when it gets a little later in the day, the shad get active. And following the shad are all of the big bass.
See if he can get it in there. And yeah, that does look like a good one. And that's going to tie him unofficially with Kevin VanDam.
Oh yeah. That's what we came for right there. That's what you come to Grand Lake for. Right. I knew they were here. We came through here earlier, didn't get a bite.
Kevin Short, look out for that guy. He finished so strong last year. Last 3 events, no worse than 6th place. And now look for a guy to finish strong this year, Davy Hite.
Yeah. If you look at Davy Hite right now, roommates with Kevin VanDam. If we look close, when Davy lands this fish, I think old KVD gave him a lot of love on the right bait.
That won't make a difference. Come on, babe. Stay hooked up. That's what I'm talking about, baby. Quit bringing sexy back.
You know, it's been slow, but steady, and it doesn't always work out, but I don't panic and start fishing for 14-inch fish. Sometimes maybe I should, I guess, but as I mentioned earlier, I'm just not one of those that tries to hit singles or bunt.
Like you say, Mark Zona, could be some roommate synergy at work right there. Now the guy who is roommates with the fellow who won here last year, Mike McClelland, that's Jeff Kriet, started today with the lead. Now he's fallen back a bit, but he knows, and he's been saying all week, my best part of the day is midday.
This hat's so good it catches spinner baits. I mean, you gotta stay with what gets you there, dude. This is a comfortable hat, very comfortable. Lets my head breathe back there. I don't have much hair, but it lets my head breathe. It lets me gather in knowledge. You know, I mean, if I had hair back there, I wouldn't wear a hat. I'd wear a visor. But this hat catches billions.
Yeah, Tommy Sanders. I am hearing it all today. I mean, all the magic is coming out of the pouch today.
I used to have a colander I would wear on my head that would help me in a similar way. It lets information in and the good stuff doesn't get out.
My lion's mane completely blocks out all positive info. It always has, bud. It always will.
Jeff Kriet, obviously on the right wavelength to catch these fish this week. Been one of his best tournaments ever. Jeff Kriet, we have to say, one of the best to not win at this level. There's maybe about 4 or 5 guys along there with him, but you know, it's any day, any tournament now for Jeff Kriet.
If you're fishing at home, don't just fish a point. Go around and get a bite and go, oh, they're all over the point. You've got to know where the nectar is, man. Don't just assume they're everywhere. You waste too much time. Yeah, you'll pick one up here, you'll pick one up there. Every spot's got a sweet spot, man.
All right, Jeff Kriet, that catch right there just puts him right back up with Kevin VanDam, just a pound or 2 behind.
And Kevin VanDam, if you watch him, I mean, it's exhausting to see him fishing these crankbaits, using a very high-speed reel and making repetitive casts on all of his sweet spots.
You know what, I try not to say too much too often. You know, a lot of times we'll think this or that about when, you know, another angler does this or does that, or, you know, something controversial comes up. But with Kriet, I don't mind. We're pretty good buds, so I don't know if I'd be able to take him if he was to beat me today, you know? His head might swell up a little bit. His tail's gonna go, he'd be pretty happy. I didn't want to have to do this to the squirrel, but, you know, it is 10 o'clock.
Yeah. Uh-oh. Hey, bud. Got a tournament going on here. Oh, yes! Let me fill you in here.
Ah, the lucky cookies.
He's got these cookies that his wife makes that brings him luck, okay? So I say to Kevin, I got a derby going on this weekend. Can you hook me up with some of the cookies? On the way to the tournament, I hit a deer, I blew my engine, I speared a wave, and my trolling motor smashed into my head.
Sure.
Kevin VanDam eats a cookie, he wins $100 grand, pal.
They're good luck for him. They're like voodoo dolls to anybody else. I think that's the way they work, except Davy Hite got him to work for him at one point. But Kevin VanDam may have a little bit more than the lucky cookies going. You and I saw him on day 2 of this tournament. He just had that look in his eye, and he caught a fish and he says, I wonder what Skeet Reese is thinking right now. He knows something's up.
Oh, he definitely does. We just got done with the West Coast swing, and Kevin took all of Skeet's punches. But now that we're headed north, it's time for Skeet to take all of Kevin's blows.
Can't beat the squirrel with that kind.
Kevin VanDam cruising along. Looks like he's set to put a beating on Jeff Kriet and also Kevin Short. But will Edwin Evers swoop in and take the whole thing away? That's a possibility, and we'll check it out when we return. Bassmaster Elite Series, this is the Sooner Run. We're watching action from the final day right here on Grand Lake in northeast Oklahoma. Look at the leaderboard right there. Kevin VanDam started a half a pound out of the lead. Now he is solidly in the lead over Kevin Short, Jeff Kriet. And look at the man who's made the biggest move today, starting more than 8 pounds back, Oklahoman Edwin Evers. He's now only 5 pounds back, and he's in 5th place. So Edwin Evers making the big run today.
And an amazing thing about Edwin Evers this year compared to last year, he had a top 12 year last year. He said he never caught a bass on any of the places he fished last year.
That's a stud right there, boys and girls. Holy smokes. Girl, I need you in the boat. Not later, but right now. Barely hooked. Oh, Lord, please stay on there. Come here, girl. Come here. Come here. Oh, Lord, it's a big one. You know, we're talking about we needed 4 or 5 pounders. Here's one of them. Here's one of them. Come here. Come here. Oh, yes. Whoo! Look at that. I had it hooked a little better than I thought. Ah, and I just broke one off. Golly. Oh, man, that'll get your blood pumping. Oh, Lord, thank you.
Edwin Evers charging hard. That's a 4-pounder right there. And guess what that does? That gets him just a pound back of our leader, Kevin VanDam. So now Jeff Kriet, our leader to start the day, is going to have to pick up the pace.
If you don't know the throw a Carolina rig or much about it, all you're going to do is use a weight, a feed, and a swivel. Tie you about a 2-foot leader on there. You have your weight up high, and what you do, that weight drags on the bottom and your bug drags above it. You go out and drag it slow, especially this time of year around points and things like that. You catch them. There he is.
Jeff Kriet fishing the right points, obviously, all week long. Hundreds of points on this lake, and maybe you could talk about how you pick the right ones. What's the characteristics of these points?
You know, really getting to these guys' heads. If you were to pull the plug on Grand Lake and look at one of these points, they'll all tell you a good point has pea gravel on it, just little bitty pieces of gravel mixed in with bigger rock. And you'll hear a Jeff Kriet or a Kevin VanDam say, man, I caught him on the sweet spot. If you can find those combinations, and you can mix in a little wood, that's where you'll hammer him. We're going to jump over to Kevin VanDam, and that's exactly what he's fishing right here.
Kevin VanDam, we thought maybe he'd run away with it earlier, but now look at him, just 1.5 pounds ahead of Kriet, only 1 pound ahead of Edwin Evers.
Well, what you're looking at is about the same thing that's underwater. It's just a real gradual tapering gravel point. And the key to this one is right here, is it's the very first one along a stretch of deeper water. So there's the next points down up lake are a little bit deeper, and it's right on a bend in the lake too. So the wind pushes, you know, bait up here, and it's the flattest point along here. It's just very irregular, and that's, you know, pretty much what we always look for when we're looking for different spots, is find something that's different than everything else in the area. God, I missed him. God, I missed him twice. Missed him again. God. Got him. Little one. That's why. A lot of times to catch these fish, you got to just be super persistent. You got to just sit there and sit there. You got to be like a squirrel hunting for that last nut. Just never give up. Just go and dig until you find that last acorn. One thing I'll guarantee you right now is he is talking the same smack about me.
You better have some game today. If I go out there and catch him like I did yesterday, you better bring it big time. See, little old 16-pound bag ain't gonna do it today.
Kevin VanDam in a good mood because he can see victory within his grasp. But I tell you what, we've got a Jeff Kriet. We've also got an Edwin Evers, all within 5 pounds on them. That's just one fish on this lake. Or will it be someone from back in the pack with a miracle catch who gets himself right into the thick of it? We'll be back.
All over again.
It's the Sooner Run on Grand Lake in Oklahoma, and we've got a good one coming down to the wire. Kevin VanDam, looking for his 12th victory with the Bassmasters, second of this season, has overtaken Jeff Kriet to get the final day lead. And now another Oklahoman, Edwin Evers, has jumped from 8th place all the way into a tie with Kriet for second. Again, a field of 12 anglers today in competition. Our rookie in the field, Marty Robinson. What a great week he's had, but he's found the going slow today. The reigning Classic champ, Duckett, getting his elite season up and going. A top 6 last time at Smith Mountain Lake and headed for a top 10 today.
That's what I'm talking about right there.
Texan Matt Reed loves this place. Last year, he was the runner-up at the Sooner Run, and this year he's made it to the final day again. Mike McClelland in a blowout last year. This year, the rains, the changing conditions make it very hard to repeat. Terry Scroggins, Big Show Scroggins, continues to impress and to prove he can catch him anytime, anywhere. And Tim Horton did something extraordinary at this year's Classic. He gives us the encore right here on Grand.
Two of them. Always grab the biggest.
Bassmaster's Classic all over again. Look at this.
And now over to Edwin Evers having a huge day on Grand Lake, pushing one of the biggest stringers of the whole tournament.
We just got it's really kind of a hidden point. It's got a little shelf on it with some big rocks and brush. These fish just pulled out here, basically getting in their summer pattern here. This spot here is a little further out than some of the other spots I've been fishing. You know, they're just getting out here, eating on those big gizzard shad, and it's just got a pretty little shelf. That's the difference, and it's kind of hidden. It looks like a real steep bank there, but it actually comes out and tapers off and gets real flat. Please stay on there, sweetheart. Don't jump. I think I've got her hooked. Oh, look at that girl, would you? Come here. Got her. Yee-hoo! Look at that one. Look at that one. Oh, man. That's what we're looking for. Thank you, sweetie. Woo! All right.
Edwin knows it. He's getting big things done here in the final moments of this tournament. He's unofficially tied with Kevin VanDam. And now Jeff Kriet, he's 3.5 pounds back. That's just one fish.
I'm not gonna get stressed out. If I fish hard today and feel like I didn't get in a hurry and fish right and don't win, it just wasn't meant to be. I wanna win. It's a big one. I told y'all, later in the day it gets, the better I'm gonna catch him. Ah, yeah. I mean, that was a really good fish. So, I mean, there's some out there and they're feeding. You know, I know that. Now, you know, I just gotta trick them. Woo!
Kriet, the crowd goes wild, and well, they should. That bass was clutch. That unofficially puts him in a three-way tie with Edwin Evers and Kevin VanDam for the lead. So back with one more shot for Kevin VanDam. And who's your money on, Mark Zona, right now?
I'm going to tell you something amazing about Kevin VanDam. The years I've been out with him, he'll go through little spells through the day where he will not get a bite. You'll think, man, you're just like all of us. And then it starts, man. Bombs start dropping. And 1 hour later, you just got thrashed.
My partner the first day caught a 5 and a 4 back-to-back right here. I hooked and lost a big one, and that's it. And then the next day, guy caught a 3-pounder. And I didn't catch one here yesterday, but it was cloudy. There he is. Big one too. A good one though. It's barely hooked. Notice how they're always just barely hooked. Oh, we got another hook in him. That's a good one. Come on. Yep, one we need bad. That'll help. That'll help. It's not lights out yet, but I like his style.
I think it is lights out. I think that whistling we heard were those bombs you talked about a little bit earlier. Kevin VanDam has shut the door on Edwin Evers, Jeff Kriet, and all the rest of them. We'll put the icing on the cake, deliver him his 12th career victory with Bass when we come back with the weigh-in.
Give my boy KBD!
It's the Elite Series Sooner Run, brought to you by Pure Fishing, Purelator, Advance Auto Parts, and by Lowrance.
The rain is hammering down, so it must be weigh-in time here at the Sooner Run in Grove, Oklahoma. But the crowd is here to give finalists like Terry Scroggins and last year's champ Mike McClelland their due. It's Kelly Jordon with the Big Limit 2010 who takes the lead and the hot seat. Matt Reed can't put enough on the scale to knock him off, but watch out for the next guy.
Here comes Edwin Evers. 22 pounds even. Edwin Evers to the top of the leaderboard. Look at all y'all out in the rain. You're just like we are. You'll just come and watch us in the rain. I appreciate that so much.
Boyd Duckett giving it up for the great crowd here in Grove. Next up, Timmy Horton, and neither he nor Davy Hite can unseat the leader, Edwin Evers. Same story for Kevin Short and our rookie Marty Robinson, but here comes the shakeup.
Two-time Classic champion, three-time Angler of the Year, Kalamazoo, Michigan's Kevin VanDam. 18-12, KVD to the top spot one more time.
Only one angler left to weigh in, our leader from the start of this championship day, Jeff Kriet.
You're looking for 18 pounds and 6 ounces, 14 and a half pounds, and with that, Kevin VanDam secures win number 12 with the Bassmasters Sooner Run champion.
He's the man. You can't put him down. Kevin VanDam. And guess what? We're barely over the halfway point. Kevin VanDam.
Well, he said he was really concerned about his taxes after Guntersville. Looks like he solved that problem today. I'm happy for him. I really am.
Jeff Kriet may be the best guy who's never won one at this level. What does he got to do to finally put one in the win column?
You got to give it up to Jeff Kriet. I mean, what he went through today is the dream of every bass fisherman in the country, to go in to the final day against basically the New York Yankees of the sport. You can't take that away from him. What does he got to do to win one? Not fish against that guy on the final day. That's where I'm going.
Well, another $100,000 for the Yankees or Microsoft or KVD or whatever you want to put it, and a lot more in terms of points, too.
Wow, check this out. Our Toyota Tundra Angler of the Year race, No longer the Skeet Reese show. Kevin VanDam has taken the lead in that.
All right, our Toyota Rookie of the Year race. Take a look at this.
Ooh.
We thought Derek Rimmets couldn't be caught. Then mid-season, he gets caught by Casey Ashley. Now with a good finish, Derek Rimmets on top, Brian Hudgens in third place. And now take a look. Let's flop this board over and look at the kind of money these rookies are locking down in their first season. This is unprecedented.
Early?
$200 grand for Rimmets.
Early 20s and making 200 grand. We need to hang out with those kids more at the tournament. There's where I'm headed.
Fred Roombana still leading our Toyota Moving Forward Award. Hey, let's talk about our co-angler winner, Chad Kalina, San Marcos, Texas. $50,000 boat package for him right there. And of course, a big shout out, Lucy Mize, the winner at the Kentucky Lake Women's Bassmaster Tour
always.
event up there. Anything else you can
Got
think
one
of?
more thing, ESPNOutdoors.com, fantasy fishing. It's the rage through the country.
Oh, yeah.
Tommy Sanders.
Oh.
Check. Oh.
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 Look at those results right
Yes.
there. Got a little bit of a
Oh.
lead. We still got a race,
Yes.
though. Having said that, I will say
Good stuff.
this. I know two guys who probably need to start swinging for the fences, as
Oh.
we say on the show.
There's the
here.
funny
That'd be
guy.
You and McKinnis.
Get your invitation to the gun show.
What?
Where's it at?
Where? What?
Right there. Bang. Huh?
Okay.
Tommy Sanders. Heed me now, fear me later, bud.
That didn't just happen, but I will tell you, the next gun show is the Champion's Choice from Lake Champlain. We'll see you then on the Bassmasters. Thank you.
We're going after the squirrel today.
This has been a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports.
Cue the Metallica, we're about to rock, baby.
For more, log on to Bassmaster.com.
Kevin VanDam secures win number 12 with the Bassmasters. Sooner Run champion.